PowerPoint, and then we'll have notes for you later. But I just want to welcome you and thank you for coming out today. When we started planning this gathering, we were really just the heart behind it was very simple. We wanted to create something just for moms, part of our moms program, raising special needs kids. Really, because if you think about it, moms, you're the heart of the family. And when the mom is healthy, physically, mentally, and spiritually, then the whole family feels it. So that was the whole premise behind what are we going to do today, and the two moms that we have presenting for you today. So over the past year, I had the chance to meet both of these moms, and they've shown me firsthand how taking care of yourself can completely change not only your life, but the life of your kids too. So today you're going to get to hear from both of them. You're going to hear from Lori with CommonSense Wellness, and she's going to share a little bit about her testimony and her journey with different supplements, especially something called BrainSense that helped both her husband and her son. And then also you can hear from Michaela from Faith in Action, and she has built a health and fitness program out of her passion for helping people. And we just really had a joy to meet both these ladies and bring them in to talk to y'all about fitness. I know you're really big into fitness, and I see your son. I know you're really great into healthy eating, especially for bonded, and so I'm hoping y'all can get a little more out of this and when you meet them, because we know that especially raising special needs kids, how important it is to have the support and different information for yourselves and for your kids. So I hope you're encouraged from their stories and take something away from what they have to share with you today. All right, thank you. Lori, I'm gonna have you come on up.
So I had a PowerPoint, but technical issues. So I'm just going to go over basically what the PowerPoint goes over, which is brain health. So most of us know the minimal about brain health. You need to have things like exercise, hydration, relaxation, sleep, and nutrition. So I'm going to just touch on a few of these things, but focus mostly on the nutrition part of it. Okay, so exercise. Any movement is better than no movement, and more movement is better than a little movement, right? So looking at it from a stay-at-home mom perspective, go to the restroom the furthest away from where you're sitting, right? Instead of collecting things that need to be dropped off in different rooms, make several trips. Instead of sending the kids to walk the dog, you walk the dog. So any kind of movement you can get in. Take the stairs when you go to wherever you're going, malls or office buildings, take stairs instead of elevators. Park a little further from the doors instead of doing laps, killing time, hoping for that spot that's right there by the doors. Park a little further away, okay? And the same goes with kids, especially if they're at home all day. Make them get up and move. Don't let them just be sedentary. Exercising also includes exercising the mind. You want to spend some time reading, playing games, doing puzzles. Try to not do video games. You want to limit screen time because it's better for your brain that way. Do Mad Libs. You had Mad Libs from your kids, but those were always fun, right? So work some puzzles out. Make up your own games. Make up games with your children. Then we'll move on to hydration. We all know that they say get 8 glasses of water a day, but it really is a little bit much for kids. Sometimes it's a little bit much for us.
Yeah.
So what they say the good estimate is to take your weight in pounds, divided by 2, and drink that many ounces. So if your child weighs 100 pounds, then you do 50 ounces of water. Now it doesn't mean tomorrow go drink 100 ounces of water if you're weighing 200 pounds. You can work your way up. Don't try to do it the first day. Just gradually increase until you're at your target goal. Relaxation. So I read an article that talked about unmanaged stress can cause behavioral changes such as emotional outbursts, isolation, over or under eating, increased drug and alcohol use, avoidance of favorite activities, exercising less, compulsive behavior like shopping or gambling, and an increase in smoking and vaping. So we need to really watch out where our stress level is, not just for us, but for our whole family, right? Some of the healthy ways to recover from stress, because we all have stress, it's life. Healthy things to do: exercise, mindful breathing. Take the time to slow down, okay? A good cry can release a lot of those stress hormones. Creative expression, big hugs, getting enough sleep, laughter, being in nature, and making human connections. So we need to look at what things we can do to relieve the stress in a positive way. And a lot of these you see talk about sleeping, right? So that's usually the hardest one to get is the sleeping. Quality sleep is more important than you might think. It affects everything from your mood to your metabolism. Good sleep can also strengthen your immune system and improve your body's ability to repair itself. So one of the articles I read talks about the 10-3-2-1 rule for great sleep. No caffeine 10 hours before bed. No food 3 hours before bed. No work 2 hours before bed. And no screens, that's your phone, your computer, your TV, whatever, at least 1 hour before bed. Now I did read another one that said for children you increase it by 2 hours, or by an hour. So for children, 2 hours before bed, no screen time. So don't let your kids fall asleep on their phone or watching TV. They need to get away from the screen time. Okay, and finally we want to talk about nutrition. The gut's microbiome affects the body's internal clock, and an imbalance can lead to sleep disorders. Again, going back to the problems with sleep, including insomnia. So what are we putting into our bodies? So we know that right now the biggest issue is childhood obesity, right? Too much sugar. That when you overdose on sugar, your liver starts turning all that sugar into fat. And that's why we're having such an increase with the childhood obesity, because they're getting everything has sugar in it now. So you need to really cut back on the sugar. Nutrients that they've found that can help mood and mental health include omega-3 fatty acids, folic acid, vitamin B, vitamin D, magnesium, and tryptophan. So what I'm going to focus on today is supplementation, because the foods you purchase in the stores don't have the nutrition that they used to have. There's actually a study out that talked about comparing food, fresh fruits and vegetables grown in 1930s compared to the 1980s, so 50 years later. And all of them had a significant, let's see how they phrased it, statistically significant reduction in the levels of minerals and vitamins. So the ones that they showed that were most reduced were sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, iron, copper, and zinc. Those are the minerals that were studied, and all of them were significantly reduced except for phosphorus, which is probably the least important on the list. So we're looking at grocery store foods don't have the nutrients they used to. So even if you're eating healthy, you're not getting those vitamins and minerals that your body needs. And you're definitely not getting the quality that your brain needs. So that's why micronutrients have been studied. They've actually done 48 studies on using micronutrient formulation. Now, micronutrient formulations are supplements processed in a specific way that allow vitamins and minerals to enter into the brain from the bloodstream. Not all supplements are equal, so you need to look for micronutrient formulations, because those are the ones that can get to the brain. So I had on the slides some of the titles of these studies, and I'll go over a few of them. They found it as a safe and effective treatment for ADHD. Micronutrients reduce depression, anxiety, and stress. They're good for emotional regulation in children with ADHD. They improve bipolar symptoms in children and adults. It's a successful treatment for OCD, successful treatment for bipolar disorder 2 and ADHD. It reduced mood, volatility, and explosive rage in children. It was used to treat children with bipolar disorders, childhood psychosis, pediatric bipolar spectrum disorders, severe mood dysregulation, ADHD and depression, stress and anxiety, mood, behavior, and anxiety disorders in children, ADHD in adults and children. And the important one is that they found micronutrient formulations outperform medications in patients with autism. So I just want to read a couple of details from that study. And the key findings were that in the contrast between the patients that were on micronutrients as opposed to medications, the micronutrient management resulted in significant advantages such as lower activity level and uncontrolled behavior, less social withdrawal, less anger, better spontaneity in relationships, less irritability, lower intensity of behavior, unwanted behavior, and fewer adverse events and less weight gain. They did find that both the medication and the micronutrients did reduce symptoms and adverse side effects, but the change for the micronutrient group was far greater than the medication group. So, kind of why I'm here. The science is wonderful, but why I'm here. My son, oh, got the PowerPoint working, great. Okay, so fast forward to number 24.
This fast forward to 24.
Yeah, frame 24. There we go. Okay, so one of the things I want to point out is taking micronutrients are safe, okay? They don't have side effects. It's vitamins and minerals your body needs anyhow. So they did one study and they said that there were significantly fewer side effects and less weight gain compared to medications, and they had no occurrences of negative outcomes with taking the vitamins as opposed to a medication. So the next screen. This talks about the supplement that I'm going to witness to here. My son was diagnosed ADHD, and for a few years we did the different ADHD meds, Focalin and a couple other ones, and it wasn't working. By the time he was 9 years old, he was suicidal. And I didn't know where to go at that point. We took him to other doctors, and he was diagnosed as autistic. They said he had been misdiagnosed. And so for about 10 years, he was on anti-anxiety medicine, antidepressants, and ADHD meds. And for 10 years, nothing helped. They kept changing the meds. They would up the dose. We'll try a higher dose. Well, let's switch it to another drug.
Yeah.
Let's try a higher dose on that one. And nothing helped. One had the side effect of making him go blind. So we had to get that one out of his system, put him in therapy to get his eyes turned back on,
Wow.
and replace it with another drug.
Yeah.
Another one destroyed his gastrointestinal system. So we made the drive to downtown Houston once a month for a year trying to fix that. It got to the point where his anxiety and depression were so bad he dropped out of school. He didn't even finish 9th grade. We tried online school. He made up most of his 9th grade credits before that was just too much. And a friend of mine was telling me about BrainSense. They were using it to treat anxiety. And I'm like, it can't hurt. It's vitamins and minerals. So I put my son on it. And it took about a year for us to step down all his meds, because with all those antidepressants, anti-anxieties, you gotta step them down. But about halfway through the first year of him being on BrainSense, I heard him laugh, and I couldn't remember the last time I heard my child laugh.
Wow.
It had been, I don't know how long, but I heard him laugh, and I'm like, this is working. And so we got him completely off all his pharmaceutical medications, and within a month of finishing getting him off all the meds, he took and passed all 4 high school GEDs. In 1 month, in less than a month. And it's like I got my kid back. I mean, he smiles, he laughs. If you meet him, you can't tell he's autistic anymore because he makes eye contact now. he doesn't hide. He'll have conversations with people. He still struggles. This is by far no cure, but it has alleviated so much of his symptoms that they're surprised to find out that he's on the autism spectrum. And I feel like for 10 years I tortured my child with all these medications, but I didn't know any better. I just listened to the doctors. They said, well, try this pill, try that pill, try this pill. And I thought they were doing what was right for my kid. But never once did they say, let's look and see if he's got all the right vitamins and minerals. And that's all it took. And it worked so well that when I saw the progress he was making, I started taking the BrainSense. Because my doctor had diagnosed me as permanently depressed. They said my body doesn't produce serotonin, so I'm going to have depression the rest of my life. I need to be on meds. So that was 4 years ago. I haven't been on antidepressants for 4 years. And I feel things now. And I'm not numb all the time. I mean, sometimes it's sad stuff, but I feel it. And my husband takes it. He's former Marine and former firefighter, former teacher. So he's got all kinds of PTSD going on. But he takes it for his PTSD. And my one daughter took it for both her pregnancies as her prenatal vitamin. And she had no postpartum depression, where everybody in my family has always had postpartum depression. And my other daughters had postpartum depression, but she didn't. And to me, it's worth it because it saved my child's life. And that to me is the most important thing. And that's why I'm here, because I need parents to know there are options out there other than take another pill.
Right.
Other than the doctor shoving pharmaceuticals down your child's throat and say, well, we'll just give him a little more, just give him a little more, it's not working, give him a little more. There's other options out there, and that's why I'm here, because I want to make sure you guys know that. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Lori. So when she shared her story with me and Michael, it was after Christmas, because they volunteered at our Christmas party, which you ladies were here for. When she said she wanted to share with moms that was her passion, is to show you that you have options. I was like, we want to be a part of that. And we actually decided to try that and get involved with them. And actually one of our daughters started taking BrainSense. And it's not because we said, okay, we're gonna put her on it, because she wasn't on medication, so we didn't feel that, but she started noticing in school that she didn't have the focus, and she used to be like, how come my sister gets straight A's? And so she started asking, how can I help pay attention more in class? And so I said, okay, well, we can try this. And so we tried it this summer, and she's liked it. She said she feels more focused. When it ran out, she's like, can we get some more? And now that she's in school, we'll see how her first report card goes and how this first true semester at school with it on it. But she says she feels focused, and it was her choice to try it. And now it could be, like Michael said, we don't know if it's just because we told her it's supposed to help with that she believes it. And if that is the case, great. But it was still this, that we were like, okay, let's try this as an option. That's why we were like, okay, we wanted to share that, because we have so many parents that tell us their kid is on medication, or they ask, hey, has your kid taken this medication? The doctor wants to switch them to this. And we're like, okay, well, let's give another option that's not a medicine, but a supplement that's not gonna do damage and have side effects that the medications do. So that's why we were sharing this. And I really thank Lori for opening up and sharing the testimony about her child, because a lot of parents, as you know, we try to hide if anything is wrong. We don't want to share what we went through. But really, that's how we empower people to show what worked. You don't have to wait until you've gone through it. If you're going through something now, ask, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Have you dealt with it? Don't be afraid, because you're the advocate for your child. Okay. So beyond that, I want to take us from the supplement part, which at the end, Lori is going to have more information so you can learn more about BrainSense or other supplements that they have that you might want for yourself. She'll give more information on that. I'm going to have Michaela with Faith in Action. She does meal planning and fitness, and they have a wonderful program for kids that they do as well, different summer camps and fitness camp, so I'm gonna let her talk to you guys about that.
So my name is Michaela. I'm a wife, I'm a business owner, I'm a mom of 3. I have a set of twins. Their names are Gabriel and Gabrielle. Gabrielle's back there. I also have a 3-year-old. And then my oldest, we moved here. We're originally from Lafayette, Louisiana. We moved here about 5 years ago. When we found out that my son, one of the twins, was actually deaf. Based on my personality, I needed to just get up and go. I wanted to find the best resources for him. And so that was Texas Children's in the Woodlands. Shortly after, he received his cochlear implants. It was going okay. But then after he wasn't meeting milestones that he needed to reach, we were diagnosed with autism. That moment shifted everything about how I saw parenting, life, and even myself. So let me ask you this. How many of you have had a moment where life didn't go the way you planned, but you had to find a whole new strength you didn't know of?
Yep. Me too.
That's been my journey. Between running a business, making time for my husband, raising 3 kids, life already felt full. But being a caregiver added a whole new layer. With my son, every day brings therapy appointments, communication challenges, meltdowns, and moments where I have to be a mom, advocate, teacher, and cheerleader all in one. How many of you have ever gone to bed so drained that you felt like you had nothing left to give?
Yeah.
That was me for a long time, and I realized if I don't make space for myself, then my kids, my husband, and even my clients, they wouldn't get the best out of me. That's why fitness matters to me, not for looks, but for sanity. It's my reset button, my chance to fill my own cup, so I keep pouring into everyone else. So let me ask you this. Who here has ever said, I just don't have time to work out?
Not me.
Oh no. So me too, honestly. I'm a business owner. I own a personal training business. You would think I have time to work out, but I don't have the hours like people think I do. Sometimes it's 20 minutes before the kids wake up. Sometimes it's squats when they're climbing all over me. Sometimes it's just a walk outside to breathe. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to happen. Here's what my kids have taught me. My oldest son has given me resilience. My twins have given me patience. And my 3-year-old, he's given me flexibility. Literally, he's all over the place. But most of all, being a wife, a business owner, and caregiver has taught me this. Strength isn't about never being tired. Strength is about showing up again and again, even when life is messy, unpredictable, and overwhelming. So let me ask you this. What's one small thing you can do this week just for you? Anybody? A walk? 5 minutes of stretching? Maybe even dancing in the kitchen with your kids. And since I know sometimes we need ideas, let me leave you with this. Exercise doesn't have to take an hour. You could reset your body in just 5 minutes. So we're gonna do it.